Alright, ladies and gentlemen, before I get to taking the air horn off, I actually want to take off a couple accessories. Most of the stuff on this side I'm going to try to do. So this is your accelerator pump. For those of you who are used to GM that have it inside of the carburetor, you have to take the carb apart to replace it. This is not like that. I actually already replaced the accelerator pump a couple years ago when I got the car. They're very common to go out, and luckily it was an easy repair for being my the first time I ever really did any kind of carburetor work. So you got your 1/4 wrench, and you just, I'm going to do this off camera, but you get the point here. You just take off these 4 bolts here. This comes apart. You'll see it in a second. And then this accelerator pump lever, you can punch that out, but you don't really have to if you're just replacing the accelerator pump. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it or not. I might end up doing it, but it's not going to be in this video. So this is free now. Just gotta... There we go. Spring comes out of it. I think it goes in like that. It just came out way too fast for me to see. I hope that caught that on video so I can go back and make sure. But I don't think it went like that. It must go in like this. Anyway, this is your accelerator pump. This thing right here. Kind of weird looking, ain't it? This one's actually, oops, sorry about that. This one's actually in decent shape still. I say that like I'm surprised only because I only put like 2,000-3,000 miles on the car, and it sat a lot, so I don't know, I might keep this, but I don't know, maybe not. They're not that expensive. So there's your accelerator pump. Well, put it right there. You got this orange plug in here. This comes out. You can take it out. I don't think I'm able to get it with one finger. I might have to stick a screwdriver in there and mess with it. See if I can get it out. I don't have a small screwdriver. Okay. Let's see if I can get this. Oof, that's tight. I don't want to break it. I don't know what it is, but I'm not breaking it. It's not getting broken on my account. We'll just smooth out the edges and pretend that never happened. But that's in there. I'm sure it'll come out once I take the main body apart. But anyway, next thing I'm going to do is see this linkage here. I've already recorded that it's in that farthermost hole on this carburetor. There's your accelerator pump linkage. Put that right there. And then over here, on this thing, you got, see that? There's 4 holes in this, right there. And this one's in the second hole down on there. Yours might be different depending on the car you have, but you make sure you record this when you're taking it apart so you know how to put it back together. But that's just a little clip. I'm going to try my hardest not to break that when I take it off. Take this linkage off. Okay, that wasn't the easiest thing in the world, but I didn't break it, so that's good. Alright, I'm going to take this spring off next, this throttle sort of, I don't know, pullback spring, I suppose you could call that. Looks pretty simple. Looks like you just sort of loop it back around. Yeah, see that? Loops into this slot over here on this dash pot. I'll get to this in a second, but let me take that spring off first. Okay, now that that's off, it's just sort of swings around freely. This screw needs to be adjusted to exactly where it is, so I'm not even going to touch it because it's not gummed up or anything, so it's just going to be like that. Now this, so I get to this is a dash pot, and this is an electric dash pot. This is really fancy for the time. My Oldsmobile doesn't have one of these, and that's a luxury car, and it's 10 years newer than this. This car, they would have paid a lot of money for this back in the day. And basically what this does is when your AC kicks in, you know how on your newer car, if you have one, your AC kicks in, your idle speed goes up. Well, on these old cars, it doesn't happen. Your idle speed will go down because it draws load off of the engine to turn the AC on. AC turns on, and without this thing, your throttle will bottom out on the idle, and your car will stall because you don't have enough airflow to balance out the fuel. That's basically the car will flood. It'll stall and it'll flood, and it'll be really screwed up. So you need one of these dash pots on it. The Olds has a vacuum one, so when you when your vacuum lowers, the foot kicks out, and it was broken on the old, so I took it off, and it I just had to turn the outspeed up a little bit, so it runs a little higher than it should, but it's not noticeable enough that it's a problem, so it's no big deal. But this is an electric one, so this does it automatically. When you turn the AC on, it sends a signal to this single wire connector here, and tells it to push this boot out, like this. See that? That's all it does, is that little bit of movement right there. It is adjustable with this little bolt right here, or this little nut. And you've got this contraption that also has something to do with the adjustment, but I'm not going to touch it at all. It's just going to come off. And to get that off, it is just one bolt right here. It's not a quarter. It's a little bit more than that, so I'm going to have to go over my wrenches and see what I've got. But that's just how you get that off, and you pull the whole bracket off with it. As far as the throttle shaft goes, this is all going to come off as one piece. And the yellow speed screw is actually on the throttle body on this one, on this carburetor. I've never seen that before. Usually they're on this mechanism here, but it's not. So that's not going to get adjusted or touched either. That's going to stay right where it is. So I'll take the throttle shaft off once everything is apart, but it's going to stay on for now. I'll take this off, and then I'll start with the next video, and we'll take the air horn off. How about that?